I'm chilling here in my backyard, and my son just went inside, and I'll be 50 next month. Um, when I was younger, I changed college majors so many times. It took me an extra year in school. But I ended up becoming a pilot, and that was great. And that fed the perfectionism thing, because I could fly perfect, as I would teach my students. Fly perfect, because you're up there, you're paying for, the same minute. It costs that much whether you suck at it or fly perfect, so just fly perfect. So there was always another rating to get. There's always something to study for. So I worked 7 days a week. I had 3 jobs most of my life when I was doing all that. And then I got out United, and it was great. Not without challenges, of course, especially as a girl. But it was great. I met so many hilarious people. I flew with the funniest people. Oh my God. If any of you are watching this now, I love you and I miss you all. You guys are some of the most funny people that I've ever met in my life. And I wouldn't give any of those days up, from my flying days. Lost my job 3/3/03. 3 days later, I went to Sedona for 3 weeks and had my mind just blown by enlightened people from Korea. Blown. Absolutely blown. $10,000 professional healer school. People there could beyond reading minds. I truly feel like the luckiest person alive. That I was in that 21-day course learning from these amazing people that weren't like human beings. I learned so much more about myself and about the mind. And while we were there for 21 days, it was intense. We were up at 4:30 every morning and didn't go to bed till 10. Lots of work. A lot of work. And then after, just doing healing work. Just amazing. I went back to flying. Met my husband. That was funny. But then we got married and I had my son. And when I had my son, it was just me and him in the house. And that baby was the most beautiful thing that I ever saw. And just holding him was like decadent. And so my job as a pilot, I couldn't go back to it because I would have had to hire a nanny to basically raise my kid. So I was really fortunate. I thought about all these mothers that think nothing of having a baby and then they go back to work and where they put their kids. So anyway, I had a real enlightening experience raising children. How profound and beautiful the experience of creating a life. I mean, I was older too, so I was 37 when I had my son and 41 when I had my daughter. And my husband's older than me. So I call us parents, but we do appreciate our children more than other people who are younger. And they're trying to get back to something. They're trying to get something done. And like I said, we're very lucky. I'm very lucky Well, why am I so lucky? I'm lucky because I had so much crap happen to me when I was younger. I also worked so hard when I was younger. I also was exposed to things like the Tao and like my enlightened teachers. I see people just striving. And I don't think they even know what they're striving for. They're ignoring what's right in front of them. So many people are ignoring what is right in front of them. They're trying. They don't even know what they're trying to get to. And so now I'm just laying here right now. I'm sick. So I'm healing myself. Through the process of healing myself, I'm seeing how much I was pushing myself. And how irresponsible I was being with my own time. I was loving my dogs. I was loving my kids. I was loving my goats. I was, taking care of things. But I wasn't deeply doing any of those things because I was answering texts like constantly. Being sick has really helped me see also how much stuff that I was doing really lowers my vibration. I would go get information from from sources that I trust. But being sick right now, I gotta stop that. Because I need every bit of the sounds of the birds right now. Every bit of the feeling in the hammock right now. Without any distraction. Just feeling comforted by Prime Creator or whatever. Supported in healing and growth. And I want to say my dad told me when I was an airline pilot for United, if you ever want to get married and have kids, you can give this up and that would be okay because you still did it and you still went all over the world and you still, achieved your goal. And I went nuts on him. And he was right. He was right. Because if I tried to go back to that, now I would be missing so much of just laying in the backyard, waiting for my kids to come outside, go on the trampoline, or just talk to each other and listen to their conversations. The Tao says when you have enough, stop. What's enough? I don't think people have an idea of what their happy point looks like or where they're trying to get. So when you just desire happiness and contentment, then when you get there, you can stop. And then you enjoy the happiness and contentment. I'm so grateful that I don't have to study for tests anymore. Now I'm going to go for a couple certifications that I feel will make my healing work stronger and more fun for me and more fun for whoever listens to me. I just think a lot of people are missing it. I'm thinking about homeschooling my daughter because I feel like girls, at least I see I see around me, girls seem to be very susceptible to popular culture. And there's been this fake female empowerment thing. It's really just pushing guys down or boys down. People who don't understand the beauty of men are really missing out. You know, I've had some horrible things happen to me, but I've also, it's just part of life. You know, it's going to happen. And my dad, my husband, like, they're the best men that I could ever ask for. And, you know, my son, he's so neat. And when I ask, are you all right? It's like, yeah. And I can feel he's all right. And I can feel that as a man, you know, he's still young, but as a man, he's got this like inner raft that sort of rights itself. And at first he's okay, and then becomes more and more okay. And I know he got that from my husband. You know, my husband is just so cool. And some men are just not raising their kids. And we used to be, you know, I was raised in the 70s and in the 80s. We used to be given stories that were inspiring. People created something or they figured something out and they were all excited about it. And we learned about these inventors and we learned about these people and these bright minds. And, you know, Mark Twain was, you know, had a sense of humor, had some wisdom and a sense of humor, you know. And then we, you know, in the 70s, we had Mr. Rogers, who was just pure kindness. And now, kids, and then Marxism like got in. It's such a toxic and like people trying to rip our culture apart. I'm not saying that everything was perfect, but I mean, why should everything have been perfect hundreds of years ago? When what are you guys doing now? You're still tearing shit apart. So why should people have been perfect hundreds of years ago? You guys are acting like assholes now. And you're the ones pointing fingers that the Christopher Columbus is a douche. It's like, you know, life was hard back then, very hard. And people didn't speak each other's languages. And people don't understand that, are just like throwing tantrums now because you think people in your past should have been better. And then you're saying do better. And you guys are the ones ruining, you're just tearing everything apart. And, you know, Marxism is just an idea. And deciding to teach negative crap and hateful crap instead of teaching Mark Twain, you know, wisdom and humor, I mean, there's so many people writing books. There's so many books. Somebody decided we're just going to go negative. Let's see how that goes. Why? Okay, we tried it. It's really effed up this whole country. All right, so maybe let's stop that. Just tearing men down. You're tearing down society. You're tearing people's minds down. Everything's getting torn down. That's where we are right now. Everything's getting torn down. Hilariously, you know, the Green New Deal people and the Marxist people think that tearing everything down, and then they're going to recreate it in this have an ideal, a utopian idea of what they would create. But the left can only tear shit down. It can't build. It won't. It doesn't build. It only complains and bitches and tears down. That's all it does. So, if you turn on the TV, you're going to look at some hideous scenes. But it's not all like that. There are peaceful people just waiting for the insanity to just either blow itself apart or waiting for people to wake up to, all the patents on viruses. Why are there patents on viruses? People should ask themselves why. Why are there patents? And why do those people own patents on those viruses? And should they be in prison? Why don't people want you to be happy? What do they get out of it? What does anyone get out of patenting a virus and messing around in a lab with it? What does somebody get out of that? There's an answer. There's an answer. And what's in a vaccine? People are pushing vaccines, but they don't want to talk about what's in there. They want you to just assume that the vaccine of today is as righteous as, Jonas Salk in his day. They want you to just assume that's all good stuff. Formaldehyde, aluminum, MRC5, which are aborted fetal tissues, cells. There's other human cells. There's animal cells. People just go, yay, science. Okay, but is it science? Is it science? Why can't people figure that out for themselves? If someone gets a vaccine, why can't they just be happy that they're safe and protected? Why do they have to come after someone who may or may not get it? Why do they have to scream at the people who may or may not get it? Why? Why do you need other people around you to get it? You're all set, right? So then be all set. Shut up. These groups are chunking people up and then trying to fight for everyone to be accepted when they're the ones keeping people from being individuals. It's all gotten so stupid that it's not worth participating anymore in any conversation. Because people have the lines drawn in their heads on everything. And people aren't allowed to be individuals, but we're here to be individuals. The beautiful irony that we're all part of the same divine energy. We're all just different, unique expressions of the same energy. I'm not mad, I just think it's all so stupid. that when it gets less ridiculous, then people like me, we will come out, speak if we need to, or wait. But it's all like too stupid right now to even bother with. There's a lot that's funny. There's a lot of funny people. And there's a lot of people, I give a lot of people credit. You know, Douglas Murray, he's amazing. He's just so well spoken. He's been, you know, fighting the good fight for a little while. Just so smart, so clever. Sean Atwood, who was in prison, he's doing his best to expose all the Epstein stuff and all the pedophilia and all the stuff that's and you know, if people like him were successful to get the all that information out there, and this is what they've been trying to hide, and you know, oh gosh, like the Green New Deal stuff, you know, all these people's children on the boards of energy companies, and then Michael Moore gets eaten by the left because he points out just a smidgen of the windmills. He didn't even go into like how much energy it costs to make one windmill, and then what happens, how long it can live, how many animals it can kill while it's in use, how much it costs to put it up, how much it gives back to the world, and then when it blows itself apart, what they have to do with it after that. They're burying these massive windmills. See, he just like touched on the windmills. The whole thing about the windmills, there's so much money in it. There's so much money in this Green New Deal stuff. You can't even believe it. And one thing that's hilarious is somebody came up with a company where you can pay to undo your carbon footprint. This is genius. If you, like Leonardo DiCaprio, who talks about, you know, global warming, climate change, he can write a check to this place to assuage all his guilt for driving his private jet all around by himself. He can just write a check to cover his carbon footprint. Oh man, it's brilliant. I love it. It's all funny. So I'll just be here working on my own spiritual work, empowerment for myself, you know. Gonna have to draw some new boundaries, whatnot. I just want to make a video quick to say some of us are still enjoying peaceful existences, and it's summer 2020. Before the election and through the election, you're probably it's another time we're gonna need to fill the pantry with pasta. So you know, that's November 3rd. So the end of October, you know, get yourself squared away with all the toilet paper, paper towels, pasta, whatnot. You get one life, and it's here right now, and it's going. My mom's gone. She'll never be back in my life. My dad's here now. He's adorable. I'm not going to have him forever. I just have to love him while I have him. Same with dogs. You only have them for a short period of time. Don, I'm sorry about your dog. We're little angels in hair suits. Please just fall in love with your life. The external circumstances can pull you forward or push you forward if you let it. So this sickness pushed me down into my center. And I said, okay. I mean, not that I did something wrong. I knew I didn't technically do anything wrong. I just said, if getting this will serve in the highest best in some way, I'll get it. So I opened to it. So I had something happen that lowered my vibration, first to anger, and then to fear, right? So I had a high vibration going. I found out something made me angry. That made me angry, which then made me afraid for the old people. But fear is like my hand on a hot stove. Okay, so your power ends where your fear begins. So the fear came fast, but then I popped right back to anger. All right, so I don't stay in fear long. I pretty much go back to anger, and that's my lowest vibration for the most part. The way I live my life anyway. So I said, in the anger vibration, I let myself stay in the anger vibration. I said, all right, because I could have made a different choice. I could have stayed away from this situation and I wouldn't have gotten sick. I could have easily just stayed away and I wouldn't have gotten sick, okay? And so I went through that mindset. And then I felt like I was missing something. So I went back to the anger and I said, okay, if me getting that serves in some way, then, serves in the highest best. If there's a good reason for it, then I open to that. I'm open to that. And I saw that I had fears of, my dad or whatever, getting it and all this stuff. And I realized if I developed antibodies while I was away from my dad, then I go through it and then I could keep myself away. So I never have to worry about when, if, whatever, it just happens, whatever. All right. So then I was amenable to it. I allowed it. And then through it, I realized, wow. I don't know how to say it. I never place solid boundaries on my time. I always think I'm just going to get back to this person or just get back to that person. And I have people who think nothing of, can you just, and it's like, when I'm healthy and I have a high vibration, it's really no big deal. But when I was sick, I got mad. And I was like, I don't have good boundaries. So, for what it's worth. But the world is still a beautiful place. I saw a black preacher guy. Can't remember his name. Whenever if I hit something on Facebook, whatever, some video pops up. So this guy, I think it was the guy whose church was shut down. It might be a different guy. But he was talking about how he had a dream about there's been a force at work trying to dismantle the solid foundations of all different countries. And that really rings true for me. There's been so some people talk about good versus evil. So you could look at it like that, that good would just let countries do their thing and like help them if they need it, help all their people, live happier and better. And evil just tries to destroy. And that's been going on. There's people who've been part of a real dismantling of solid foundations in different cultures since probably the beginning of time. And somebody said you can't destroy evil. It's always will be. There's always going to be good and there's always going to be evil. And unfortunately, that feels true to me. So I think in one way, we're very fortunate that the left in the United States is a very easy way to round up a lot of destruction, a lot of evil, and start there. And I don't know. We'll just wait and see, I guess. All right. Just don't forget to live. Don't forget to live and go outside and enjoy nature. Enjoy the little things. And if you have children, enjoy them. Like, I enjoy my kids, and so then homeschooling was easy, because I have these little humans with my sense of humor, and, people say, oh, well, I have to work. Well, could you downsize, because my parents, downsized, and I wasn't going to go answer phones for $10 an hour, so that someone else could raise my kids. I'd live in a tent first. Like, having a baby is a privilege. Having kids is a privilege. You're lucky if you can have one or two. And they make you better if you let that whole thing happen like that. And that's how I feel about children. I think that they're the largest force of grace on the planet. I think anyone that hurts them should be in prison.